Hey guys, as you can see, this image is clearly not clickbait, and every single part here is for the car. They're all brand new parts. I got a bunch of parts to install. It's not just a bunch of empty boxes, and this is gonna be one of the videos where I'm probably gonna be installing the most parts together in one video. Normally I do a video per part or two parts, but we gotta get this car finished for something I'm gonna do with it later next week. But we have to start by cleaning the engine bay on this thing because it's been sitting for a while and it's pretty dirty, and it's definitely not gonna go together with the new engine that I just built for this. This is the new engine or rebuilt engine. As you can see, it looks super awesome thanks to the 100 proof hardware kit that I have from my friends over at MPC Motorsports. I got the purple kit that looks stunning with a black cover. So normally the covers are aluminum, of course, and I thought that the purple anodized hardware would look even better with a black engine. So I painted all the front covers. The rest of the engine is still the same gray, but I did the back cover, front cover, and the cam covers in black, and they look super cool. And I also went ahead and painted the VTC solenoids, and they also have the same purple hardware and including the ignition coils. Then moving on over here, we have an ISR cat bag for my car. I guess you guys already saw on a previous video I installed Sharon's cat bag. Mine's gonna have a muffler, so it's gonna be slightly less loud than hers. I have a Mishimoto silicone hose kit. I have a Mishimoto catch can. I have Mishimoto racing thermostat, which is already installed right here. It's that nice shiny part there, hidden in there behind the black cover. And then we have our energy suspension bushings for the ISR motor. Enjuku got me these super cool motor mounts that are gonna take care of my not so good stock mounts that they're halfway gone on both sides. Then we have right here on the rest of the ISR exhaust. This is our white pipe and a little extra thing over here. Then of course, last but not least, behind everything, we got a Mishimoto racing aluminum radiator. I almost forgot about this box. This one is a Mishimoto oil cooler kit. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to install this in this video. If not, I might be installing that one in a separate video later. And now the car where all this stuff is gonna go on. My 2005 Infiniti G35. This one has the rev up engine. As you can see, it has the variable valve timing on the intake as well as the exhaust. This is that super rare engine that only came in late model 2005 and 06. So it's a very limited production, very hard to find, and very hard to get parts for. Now, the car is basically stock. Another highlight is that it has black interior, so it's one of my favorite parts, and it's in pretty good condition overall, except with this thing that I have no idea how to take that off, and all of the G35s have that, and I don't know how to take it off. If somebody knows how to do it, please let me know in the comments so I can take it off, because it looks pretty bad. Now opening this thing, we're gonna show you the engine bay so you can see what I'm talking about, that it needs a little bit of love. It's not so bad, but when you look down here, it is actually pretty dirty. AC compressor's pretty dirty, cross member's dirty, and yeah, and there's a bunch of like pine needles everywhere. So we'll go ahead and pressure wash it real quick, clean it up, and then we can install the engine in the car tonight. Now this looks like a way better engine bay. Check out how much lighter of a shade of color this is compared to how grimy it was before. Also, I'm not gonna get as dirty putting the engine back in, so that's also a plus. And we have the engine already on the hoist, ready to go. Since I spray painted this stuff, I wanna try to not scratch it as bad. Try to not scratch the front cover as much. I'm trying as hard as possible to not scratch the front cover, since it was really hard to paint and clean everything, so it's a tedious process. Now, another thing I just did, I removed the automatic pilot bushing, since I replaced the crankshaft on this engine, so it was a rod knocking car. Replaced the crankshaft, rod, piston, etc. And then I just did that. So we gotta install this little guy right here, which is a manual transmission pilot bearing. So this guy's gonna go over here like this, just tap it in, ready to go. And then we're gonna install the ISR bushings. Now we get rid of our half of a motor mount and get ready to install the ISR one. It's so much easier to get this out without the headers in place. We're gonna unbox the ISR motor mounts. I already took one off from the bag for the picture. Then we have the other one. Comes in a nice bubble wrap bag and a plastic inside. Then we have our hardware, which is the crossover bolts. And then we have the mounting nuts that hold everything in place, along with some washers. Now these motor mounts come in solid or urethane. I got the urethane version, so of course I got the energy suspensions on the side, which I have to install into the motor mounts. Alright guys, so we have the upper part. It's gonna have 2 halves bushing and then the sleeve that goes in between. So it's very simple. You pretty much press this like this, then you press the other side like this, and then insert the sleeve there. That easy. Now the orientation on the motor mounts is very important. You see this little part goes towards the outside, so the stud goes to the inside or center of the engine. The little fixed part goes towards the outside. Same thing with the upper motor mount, or the upper motor mount part has a stud towards the inside and a pin towards the outside. So we're gonna mount it in this orientation. You can see you got pin and pin on the same side. So we basically slide this like this, and we're gonna try to line it up somehow without pinching our fingers. There we go. Now another pro tip on this bolt, you want to put it from the back towards the front. That way you don't have to remove stuff in order to disassemble the motor mount. So the good thing about this, you can just take this nut off, take the slider off, take it apart, and you don't have to worry about taking this nut off on the car, which is extremely annoying. After taking the super ugly stock motor mount, we're gonna put the ISR really nice gold billet piece on, put the washer, and then we install the lock nut. The nut is gonna be a 17mm hex instead of your typical 14mm that comes factory installed on the car. I mistakenly installed the driver's side mount on the passenger. The reason why I'm saying this, remember I was telling you to put the bolt coming in from the back. Well, as you can see, this one's coming from the front, so I have to switch them around. And this is the correct orientation that I will suggest to install these mounts. Bolt comes from the back, nut in the front, good to go. Engine is ready to go in. Finally, it's 1 in the morning, but we're ready. Mounts are in, everything is in, and then just needs the engine to pretty much go in. Single-handedly, we just go press this thing right here and drop it. Oh, that was scary. Oh, there you go. And just like that, the engine is in. I didn't want to record the whole thing, And Janice is over there being annoying. That's the last time she's ever gonna be at this shop, you know that. And we're going back to this. So I don't disconnect the AC compressor, so I don't have to like charge the system back up or anything like that. So there's 3 bolts that hold it in. So midway, I put it back in and then completely lower the engine afterwards. And then on the alternator side, I install the alternator, and then I have the harness here, which I hooked it up when it's about around this height. It's very comfortable right there. It's a 12mm bolt, or I mean nut, and then that's connected. And then all that we have left on this side is a power steering pump, and that fell. And I'm gonna connect that in a little bit. Engine is in. Now, before I tighten the mounts all the way, I'm gonna install a set of headers real quick, and then I'm gonna fully install the mounts. That way I can tilt the engine ever so slightly to be able to wiggle the headers in place. Before installing the headers, I wrapped the fuel lines on the passenger side with Mishimoto heat protection sleeve. This is really cool because it's super high temperature, but it's also Velcro, so you just wrap it around and Velcro it on the other side and it's good to go. You just cut it to length and you don't even have to remove the piece to wrap it. Very, very handy and speeds up the process a lot. Now it's time to slide in the header. Like this. There we go.
Nice.
It is now 3:20 in the morning and the headers are finally in, and I think it's time to call it a night. I've been doing this thing the whole week. I really want to get this car running. It's been a lot of work and a lot of late nights like today, and we'll be back here tomorrow morning to keep working on it and see if we can have this thing running by next week. Guys, look at this. You guys know what this is? It's not oil and it's not gasoline either. We got some cool stuff. I'll show you guys in a second. So he may have a whole drum of Ignite racing fuel, Ignite Red, 114 octane racing fuel. So does that mean that my car is gonna make even more power now, or it's gonna run even better and more consistent? I'll check with Jay to let you guys know about that. All right, Jay, so why am I not gonna make necessarily more power, but I'm gonna be more consistent with this fuel?
So Ignite is blended exact same every time. We control everything as to not just the making of the product. We actually grow the corn, we actually distill, make the alcohol, and therefore, unlike anybody else that has to go buy it at the rack, you don't know really what you're getting. Ours is the exact same every time. We actually control it. So the ethanol that I get is what we already made. We add our additives into it, ship it, and it's on its way to you. And usually by the time we get it, it's only been distilled 50 to maybe 60 hours. So it's extremely fresh. It's not just sitting somewhere waiting to be used. So our fuel, like I said, freshest stuff you can buy on the market. We created ethanol and racing several years ago. So check us out, Ignite Racing Fuel. We want to be a partner with you. Let's go have some fun. Let's set some personal best, and that's Ignite.
Yeah, we're about to get faster now.
Exactly.
I'm more consistent. Like I was telling Jay, sometimes if I use pump 85, you will very likely go above 80% 85 on ethanol, sorry. So with this, it's always gonna be constant at the same variety. So if you tune your car, you're gonna have consistent runs and consistent performance on the car.
And with the E85, I don't care what your alcohol content is, you never know what it's blended with. You might think you've got 80% ethanol, which is cool, but you never know what that 20 to 40% in the blend with the ethanol is, and that's what's going to mess with your tune more than anything. And it's not the alcohol content that bugs me, it's what it is blended with. That's what's going to mess up your tunes.
So it could be like water or something in that thing?
Could be below grade gas, a little bit of kerosene, a little bit of diesel fuel. Below grade gas, there is no spec for E85. It's a lot. The oil companies use whatever cheapest thing they get their hands on is what they blend with it.
I didn't know that part, and that's scary.
So, thank you.
Alright guys, so we'll be running this cool stuff. Also, it smells delicious. Sometimes it smells kind of like weird, like certain green plant. And now we're finally back at the shop where I have my awesome drum of Ignite Racing Fuel. It's gonna sit here pretty until it's race day.
just driving right on down through Broadway. Goes 780 with a 774.